Welcome to my Vision News. Viewers, I had to make this video because for the past 3 to 4 days I've been seeing some reports in Ethiopian social media that Eritrea and Ethiopia are backing opposite parties in Sudan. That Ethiopia is backing Al-Burhan, Eritrea is backing Houthi. Al Jazeera is being quoted as a source of this report. So I am covering Sudan. I know what is happening there. I have covered Ethiopian war too. I know a little bit about Eritrea too. So I thought of sharing my views with you about this alleged involvement of Ethiopia and Eritrea in Sudan. Firstly, people, journalists write articles for Al Jazeera, for BBC, for New York Times, etc. It's not that that news outlet agrees with the views of the writers. Sometimes writers share their personal views, their personal analysis. The news outlet might not be in agreement with the writer's views. So it's not that Al Jazeera claims that both are involved there, Eritrea and Ethiopia. Now, so far, how many countries have been found involved? Any evidence so far on the ground? So far, I have reported, others as well, involvement of West African fighters has been reported. Through Central African Republic, West African fighters are entering Darfur from Mali, from other Niger, etc. These fighters are here for money. They're in Sudan for money. Why? Because RSF is in control of gold mines, in control of other minerals mines in Darfur. It can pay a lot to these fighters. So fighters are arriving in Sudan because they think they have a chance to earn. They don't have any ideological connection with rapid support forces. Secondly, CNN reported that Khalifa Haftar of Libya and Russian Wagners supported rapid support forces. Nima al-Baghi did a story, though evidence was not very convincing. Haftar denied the involvement. Then we have been seeing consistent reporting by some sources about involvement of Egyptian Air Force in support of Al-Burhan, Sudanese military chief. That if Egyptian planes are being used to conduct strikes on RSF positions, Egyptian pilots are involved, though convincing evidence still missing, but several sources reporting. That is what has been reported so far by experts, by diplomats, by countries. No one has found any trace of evidence about the involvement of Eritrean or Ethiopian governments in this war so far. It should be clear. Having said that, if you remember, I did an analysis a few days ago when the war started. I said, if the war goes on, we could see neighbors drawn in. It's not that Ethiopia, Eritrea was involved from day one. Though Houthi visited Eritrea, he visited Ethiopia as well. Al-Burhan visited Ethiopia. PM Abiy visited Sudan as well. But the evidence is missing so far. There is no evidence about any type of support from Ethiopia, Eritrea for warring parties in Sudan. No movement of equipment, no movement of military support, personnel support, air support to any party from the two countries so far. Eritrean president in an interview around a week ago clarified Eritrean position on this war. He called for calm. He asked the two parties to sit at the table. PM Abiy's position, again, same. Talk, sit at the table. Ethiopia, not party. Now, the writer shared his analysis only, that the two could be involved, based on the general picture. And he claimed that Isaias and Abiy are not on good terms these days. My understanding of the situation is that Ethiopia does not want to be involved in this war at this point of time. Why? Because first priority for Ethiopia is to fill the dam. It does not want to make filling of dam controversial. It does not want to retake Al-Fashaga. Sudanese forces retook Al-Fashaga in 2021 when there was Tigray war in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not retaliating. It is not starting any provocation on border. Why? It wants to remain neutral because it wants to fill the dam. And secondly, if Ethiopia retakes Al-Fashaga today, tomorrow Sudanese forces will try to take it back. So it will go on. And secondly, Ethiopia is just out of a war. It does not want to be, it cannot be involved in a new war. No, its economy is in a difficult position. It is asking for financial support for a bailout package. It cannot sustain a new military adventure in a neighboring country. Ethiopia is watching the war closely in Sudan. It will only be involved if it saw that Egypt was fully involved and Egyptian presence was becoming a threat to Ethiopia. At that time, Ethiopia could be involved. And that involvement could be in support of Houthi. Though we don't know what's going to happen. Egypt is ally of Al-Burhan. It would be difficult for Ethiopia to stand with Al-Burhan. At the same time, Ethiopia would not stand behind Houthi openly. Eritrea, Isaias Afwerki accused both Houthi and Al-Burhan that both are fighting for power. People of Sudan are suffering. Eritrean attempts of having some role in Sudan were thwarted by Sudanese Army General Al-Burhan. Al-Burhan did not agree to give any role to Eritrean president in the talks between Sudanese military and Sudanese political groups, though Isaias Afwerki was interested in mediation. And Al-Burhan did not allow the East Sudanese tribal leaders to visit Eritrea for a conference there. So Burhan wanted to keep Isaias Afwerki away from Eastern Sudan. Yes, Isaias Afwerki could be frustrated a little. In case of drawn out war, he could be involved. But his involvement will be through Eastern Sudan. If it happened, again I'm saying. What about Eastern Sudan, Bija, other tribes? Who will they support? Will they support Houthi? Will they support Al-Burhan? They have been trying to keep RSF away from their territories. So Isaias Afwerki would find it difficult to openly back Houthi. That is why I think at this point of time, both countries are watching the developments very closely. Both Isaias and Abiy are not involved in Sudan at this point of time. If this war goes on, if the war spreads towards Eastern Sudan, towards Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, Sudan border, then we could see involvement of the two countries. And in case of increased Egyptian involvement in Sudan, we could see involvement of the two countries. So far, they're just trying to stay neutral.